Hi, aloha, and welcome to another segment of the Goddess Corner. And here we are, April Williams and the beautiful Jupiter 1111, here to talk about rolling with the flow.
Yes, instead of with the punches. We're not gonna call it that. We're not gonna call it the punches. It's just go with the flow when life gets in the way, or it
Definitely.
seems like life is interrupting. And April and I were just talking before. We have these plans, right? I have three kids, but they're older, 19, almost 17, and 11. So they can kind of fend for themselves. They know when I'm recording. Sometimes the boys forget, they're on a different floor right now. They're upstairs. They try to be relatively quiet, um, but that's something that I train them to do over time. And then April has her son. How old is your son?
He's 1.5.
He's 1.5,
The
and so
size of many people's 5 year olds. It's kind of intense. I'm like, I didn't know my milk was going to do all that. But yeah. So,
so
but
he's got this amazing son. And we plan to record today, and what we do is just to kind of have some efficiency is that we record a few episodes at one time. So this one, she's like, oh, okay, he's napping great, and then he woke up. I'm like, oh, this, and then we're like, oh, this is actually perfect for you, because there's so many times that especially as feminists, as moms, and even if you don't have children, there's always other people that we tend to still have that we're connected to, we're nurturing, even if they're animals, right? You have to rush home from work and you need to take them out. You have dogs or cats or doing whatever you have to do at home. So we wanted to talk about, what do you do when life feels like it gets in the way, in order for you to keep with your flow. One of them is like what we're doing now. I'm like, no, bring him on. Take care of the sun on camera, so that it's a great way for you to visually see. You can still get done what you want to get done. And maybe it's not going to be exactly the way you pictured it, exactly the way you imagine it, but it still can be really good if you just allow yourself to go with that flow. And that's part of that beautiful feminine energy, is to be open and receiving and nurturing and conceiving, and still saying, okay, this is just, it's a hiccup. And then you actually go into your masculine. The masculine part of you is the solution. So it was the solution. The solution was just to go with it. just, just
yes.
to go with it. Um, when Earlier this year, I was separated with my husband for 5 years, and every time that we tried to I was going to get a divorce, something would happen with him, something would happen with the finances, and things just weren't happening. And then right when I was going to do the paperwork again, he got very, very sick. And then I was taking care of him. He was in and out of the hospitals, and different kind of hospitals and rehabs, before he died, and he transitioned on May 21st. So those are some of the things. There was a series of events that happened at the end of last year that kind of hurt my business, and then I had to reboot from that. And as soon as I started to get back on track, then my ex, he got very ill, and with that attachment, going with the flow, still having to do my business, then having to take care of the kids, and then the shut-ins happen, and I'm like, really? Talk about trying
I
to
know.
go with the flow. This is where routines can help you, and rituals can help you. If you develop a good routine, even when it gets interrupted, because you're so used to going into certain flows, you have to play both your feminine energy and your masculine at the same time. You're like, okay, the masculine energy is going to say, this is a problem, what's the solution? And then the feminine energy will take over and just go with the flow. But that's the thing, is that life happens. That wasn't something that I called in. It wasn't something that that was my fault, or I'm seeing as a generational curse or anything like that. It was just life. And so when life happens, the plan is to really take hold of both your energies, and to allow yourself to go into your masculine when you need to, and then come back into your feminine. The feminine is the flow. The feminine is the nurturing. The feminine is the one that, That energy is the one. You give her a house, she turns it into a home. You give her some food, she turns it into a meal. It's always something more. It's always something better. And so going through that flow. So one of the things that we need to start thinking about is like, okay, how are our routines right now? And not make them so rigid that any little thing will then really take you off your kilter.
Yes, that it's that ebb and flow of the fact that yes, you may have a list of things to do, but if you can just get one of those things done, or the fact that you even wrote the list, sometimes be thankful that you can actually have enough clarity to write the list. Um, a lot of part of this journey for me has been just gratitude for these moments. This is the thing that I prayed for, was having this beautiful, beautiful family, creating this beautiful being. And I didn't know that it was going to have so many different twists and turns to it. Um, but I'm thankful for the lessons that have made me strong. Now, I've also gotten to the point where I'm open enough and allowing myself to be vulnerable enough to ask for what I need. If you don't allow for vulnerability, like you're holding this old imbalanced male paradigm where they weren't allowed to show emotions or ask for help. Women in the modern day and age have taken on this role as if it's okay to hold it in. It's okay. Don't ask for help. Just suck it up. Where did we learn that? We are a community. We are people who are social animals. We rely on each other, or else we would be able to have babies by ourselves. No, we can't. We actually need another being to get together with to create community. And so, as a female, as a woman in community, I get to say, okay, these are the things I can do. These are my strengths. These are the things I'm working on, and where can I bridge the gap? And if you're completely lost, go ahead and put it out there. Put it. What is it that you need for support? What is it that you need from your community? What is it that you need from your neighbor? Even if it's to stop playing your rock music from 9 to 10 p.m. for 1 hour a day, just so I can have a little bit of peace. Come on. Um, you're the one that said the one with Martin Luther King and the steam, or the mother just putting a towel over her.
Oh, Martin Luther, yes. It's like,
A pocket of peace.
can I have my pocket of peace and just put the towel over my head, please? Because that's what you need. And that's so true. I think, that's what really made communities when we were growing up so powerful, is because we knew, like, I know when I was growing up, I could not mess around. My parents had a tight network of all the neighbors, and everybody watched everybody else's kid. So if I was out of line, my mother was going to hear it because somebody would tell her. And they were allowed also to scold each other's children. We were not, if we wanted to do something that we weren't supposed to do, we had to make sure we were out of the neighborhood of all prying adult size.
I completely agree with that.
Because
Holding
it's
each other accountable. That's
holding
a
each other
big deal.
accountable.
Like,
And
hey, you're negative. If you're negative self-talking, right, and you're like, I really just want to get out of this cycle, your friends need to call you on it, or else they aren't friends, right?
mhm.
Your friends are there to help you reach your goals, as also just to be your authentic self. They're gonna call you on you. Yeah, I had a great time. It's like you're lit. Your face looks like you just threw up a little bit. Let's not lie to ourselves. Oh well, he only hit me 3 times. What? He hit you at all? Like, hold each other accountable. Hold the space and be the safe container for not only yourself as a woman, but each other to be women, or to be vulnerable. Men are supposed to be able to share their emotions too, right? And we get to redefine masculinity and femininity within the constructs of our now. And I think we need to respect that. And we need to allow ourselves to be as feminine as we need to be. Be that mothers, be that the young girl who's frantic because her clothes don't look like they saw in the magazine. Lord, just help her. Just take her back. Just bring her back to the, hey, here's the flow. Here's your real body. Those aren't even their real bodies. And let's just like
No, I
enjoy.
remember years ago, Cindy Crawford came from, I'm in Chicago, so she came from, she lived in a suburb of Chicago, and beautiful face, right? She was like the it girl for a while. And I
Exactly.
remember that she was on a cover of a magazine, and they were talking about that they made 100 changes to her face, all these micro changes. And I said, to that beautiful, perfect face, they made 100 changes. And I'm like, well, if they're going to do that to her face, And then they showed it, like all these little things they did in Photoshop. And I remember her talking about after she had a divorce and she started dating again. And she said, you know, men would come to the door and they would be so disappointed when they saw her because she's like, she said, one, she was very photogenic, and you've met those people, you know, that they look beautiful on pictures, and then in real life they don't look the same, but it's because they're hyper photogenic. And she goes, I'm super photogenic. And she goes, and they do so many things to my face and my body, you know, even my face. So they were expecting this perfect, photoshopped, beautiful woman. And, you know, they actually got, I mean, she was still a beautiful woman, but it was like the girl next door, right? So they were like, huh, you don't look like the supermodel. She's like, I'm actually pretty ordinary. But that's the thing, is like, this is why community is important. And we just wanted to bring you this quick thing of like, now is the best time to start building community. You know, getting away from those lies that women cannot work together, getting away from the lies and choosing that's not your truth, that we can't build communities like that. We grew up in communities when women were very tight. I remember when I was growing up, my aunts and the women would come over, and it was like we were the hub. And then they have every Saturday, like all the guys would go and like they're playing dominoes and cards and having their beers, and the women upstairs chatting it up, you know, having a good time. And so going back to even some of those basics, how can we create community? And I know that a lot of us are still in these situations of shut-ins, but we can still do this, right? We can still build communities through platforms, through Zoom. You know, why not have a Zoom party with your girlfriends, you know, once a week, and like we're just going to connect. Let's just talk, let's just get, you know, air some things out because we need a safe place to be, and then really be there for each other. It's coming back to, let's get back to the simplicity of things. So women are so great at connecting. That's one of our gifts, is the gift of connection. And if we can just really fall back into that beautiful feminine energy of using that, you know, we kind of got out of that, you know, in the 60s, you know, we were so, our masculinity, our inner masculinity was so suppressed that when the 60s came, it's like, then we went full on masculine for a long period of time. And now it's just like, okay, we need a balance back. We need to really honor the femininity within us and honor those gifts. We're so blessed to be able to naturally create these beautiful connections. And so what kind of connections can you make? And if you need help, you know, just let us know below, and let us know how you are connecting and how you are using your feminine energy to ebb and flow through these crazy times.
I mean, look at this. I'm working this sweat. I mean, glow. So
You're
glow.
glistening. You're not sweating.
Picking
You're
up this
glistening.
baby. So that's it. It's just learning to flow and be comfortable. Be
Hmm.
comfortable in your own skin. Ask for
Yeah,
what you need and show up.
and show up. You know. And the
Thank
thing is, when you show up for other people, people always show up for you. So don't be afraid to show up for somebody else. And until next time, which will be very, very soon. We love you.
Aloha. Stay blessed. Stay golden.